Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I didn't even bother titling the channel because this is my YouTube premium account, so I mostly use it for the music, not so much to upload. I kind of was keeping my premium account away from being used as an uploading account. Not really sure why. Well, I've talked about Islam, why I left the left, and I think another topic that I'm familiar with is comics. Ching! And sexism. Ka-ching! And so, we're going to talk about... I've never watched Captain Marvel, so I'm not going to review it. I'm going to give you a small review of Endgame, guys. No spoilers. Really good movie, though. Minus Captain Marvel. And so, like, literally 10 out of 10 movie if they would have taken out the 20 minutes with Captain Marvel, like, because she just did nothing. Ooh, sorry, Brie Larson, you suck! Whoa. Echo throughout this whole house. It was weird. It's like somebody said, Brie Larson, you suck! In the bathroom. And it just, Brie Larson, you suck! Wow, somebody really hates Brie Larson in the bathroom. But, moving on. So, I've never seen Captain Marvel, and I refuse to actually watch Captain Marvel. Same reason that actually the comic book fan refuses to read Captain Marvel. To read Captain Marvel. She isn't interesting. Carol Danvers is boring. There is a whole comic series dedicated to everyone having these midlife crises. Hers is about her popularity ranking amongst the other heroes. Just so you know, her problem stays pretty meta. It's a problem she actually has. She's not liked by the fans. You want to know who likes Carol Danvers because she's really sexy? 13-year-old boys. Well, 13-year-old boy and I do not read Black Widow or Black Cat for the same reason. A 13-year-old boy is reading Black Cat because he wants to see the ass, pussy, tail, all that shit. Like, that's what he wants. And the detailing in some of those comics, you definitely use real models at times. You can tell. And you can tell. But, like, Carol Danvers is an extremely sexy character. And Brie Larson is a gorgeous woman. I do not like her mind. And that actually makes me go bump her from, like, a 9 to a 5. Just the way she thinks. Her face is absolutely... She got a cute face, she got a pretty face, but she very much makes too much of a political stand about everything. Rockstar. She also kind of ruins any movie she's in. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I refuse to watch it. Unicorn Store. I'm not supporting Brie Larson. If you guys wonder, I had qualms about Endgame. But supporting 20 minutes of Brie Larson's career is better than supporting 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours of Brie Larson's career, which I'll never do. Anti-feminist smile. Ding! Okay, but, so, I really don't have anything against her as a person. Like, I do think she's gorgeous and pretty. She isn't sexy, though. Her body isn't Carol Danvers material. So that automatically lost her points with us, the grown nerds who read a Carol Danvers or comic or two while we were kids and were looking forward to someone super sexy, like, on the level of Scarlett Johansson, to be Captain Marvel. And we got Brie Larson. We got Unicorn Store. Unicorn Store. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. A whole movie about a girl trying to be a mother. The unicorn's a metaphor for the mom, by the being a motherhood and all that fun stuff and parenthood, by the way. God. She wanted to be a single mom. That's terrible. Let me put it like this. I'm sure Chris Hemsworth is probably against male suicide, or, I don't know, anybody in the band Linkin Park. But did they turn Chester Bennington's death into a movement? No, because that was a whole character in person who died. The character being the band member, but the person being the band member beneath that. The person who those people spent time with. The person not that we saw on stage performing for us. The person who was going through several custody battles at the time of his own death. I mean, it's clear that with Brie Larson, she had to make a movement out of Captain Marvel and out of Endgame. She In her interviews, I'm the strongest Avenger. You were in 20 minutes of the movie. Shut the fuck up and sit down. And they ruined. My favorite scene in that movie was you see all the iconic, including Wasp, by the way. I'm not a big fan of the Wasp, but I like the Wasp. She's alright. You see all the iconic female MCU heroes just together protecting Peter Parker, helping him get the gauntlet to fucking Tony. Oh shit, I said too much. Spoilers. Spoiler alert. But it was so good. Okay, this scene is so good. And then Brie Larson shows up right before Wasp does, and Wasp materializes after. All those women had a really big role in the MCU today. Like, they are the reason it's where it's at. What did Brie Larson do? I fought some Kree a long time ago in the 90s, before y'all were even relevant. Thanks for doing your job. Why was this Kree Skrull War the first sign of Carol Danvers we actually get? That seems kind of stupid, if you ask me. It doesn't really explain Ronan the Accuser. It doesn't explain why they're currently at war, if they just had a war that involved Earth. I'm hoping the movies move in the direction of the Skrull War. I'm hoping characters that are gone are replaced by Skrull versions or whatever, and we don't find out for like 6 movies. Whatever. That would be dope. That would be cool. But I don't think they're going to do all that with Captain Marvel. They can't. The cat was the most popular character from her own movie. Nick Fury and the cat. That's what everyone remembers. I've read every review and everyone's like, the cat. I'm still giving it 10 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 56, and they removed their I don't want to see and only have an I want to see button. I'm curious and, like, concerned as to why. Because people said because of her sexist comments that they didn't want to see her movie. That's a perfectly valid reason to not see a movie. That is perfectly valid. Perfectly valid. If you don't want to see a movie because you don't like my politics and I was in a movie, you're more than welcome. It's how you determine where your money goes. We as the spender don't often think about these things. That's why I have chosen to take a stand against Brie Larson. I mean, why stand with somebody who's gonna push her sex over you and then go, but I'm the only great female superhero? First of all, you insulted the actress for Wonder Woman. You insulted her. You owe her a public apology. Her movie did better than yours. I'm sorry, but you, Brie Larson, are not shit. And the sexism comes in the form of, we have to accept that. We have to, as men, be told, well, Captain Marvel isn't for a bunch of old white men. Actually, bitch, that's exactly who Captain Marvel was made for. Was a bunch of old white men. A bunch of old black men. A bunch of old men. The reason why was they were 12 when that character was invented. So yeah, Brie Larson, maybe A Wrinkle in Time wasn't for old 40-year-old white men to review. Fucking Captain Marvel was fair game for everybody involved, and so was Unicorn Story. Look what happened there. Look what you did to yourself. I can't even not say it with a shit-eating grin. Look what you did to yourself. You disrespected directing. You failed as a director, and you continue to fail as an actor. Hang up the cape, hang up the cowl. You might have done alright. I've heard from multiple reviews you did alright as Captain Marvel, and that you really brought the cockiness to the character of Carol Danvers, because that is her biggest carryover. But hang up the cape and cowl. We don't want to see you. You will not be popular again. You will not be in another movie. Your feminist movement's dying out anyway. So ride the wave as long as you can, Brie Larson. But just know this, next to Robert Downey Jr., Don Cheadle, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, you ain't shit. That video Chris Pratt had where everybody was out there, you was still standing by yourself, and we all seen that. We all know that cast don't like you. So when you in an interview pretending they like you, trying to bump Don Cheadle, and he say don't touch me again, that means he told you that could end up in a lawsuit for you to touch him, Brie. And yeah, you tried to do it again on camera. That's sexism. You can touch any man you want, but they can't say shit about your bad acting. Fuck you, Brie Larson. Fuck you. You want to know why those fucking Captain Marvel #1s are still on the shelf at my local comic book store and at the fucking 4 others right near me? Oh, because you were the actress. They didn't even have somebody worth reading about as Carol Danvers. Because the Carol Danvers was shaped after you, a bit more so than you were shaped after her. You upped the cockiness of Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers was very cocky to begin with. And then you became Carol Danvers off screen. Carol Danvers wouldn't be Carol Danvers off screen, you dumbass. Shit, you should have been you, because then at least you would have been cocky on camera. You should have just played it. You should have played a song. You should have been like, I'm not really gonna be happy with Captain Marvel. You should have downplayed it like Carol Danvers really would have done. You should have really been Carol Danvers, not Captain Marvel. The difference in the personality is huge. Carol Danvers being a homebody, shy. Fucking Captain Marvel being loud. Let's just go fight him. Let's just go fight. That was perfect what you did in Endgame. You showed that she has a level 2 intelligence to Thor's 3. To Hulk's 3. Like, you showed that she ain't got shit for her brain. Let's just go fight him. I'm gonna put him in a headlock. Nah. Sorry, so the Endgame review, Endgame was a really good movie. Brie Larson did come in and ruin it. It was just, that's all it was. Thor could have put Thanos in a headlock, and that's more believable, because Thor is closer to Thanos' strength and speed levels. Bad part of the movie is the beginning when they go get Thanos. Thanos should have just whooped him. They kill him. That nigga's never been dead before. They kill him twice in this movie, and that nigga never died like that before. Like, he's died, but Lady Death don't like him, so she's just like, back to where you died, nigga. Boom. And so, I mean, it was a really good movie. I have to give it like a 7 out of 10, I'd say a 7 out of 10 is also a really good movie. I don't know why people think it has to be 8 or 9 to fucking be a good movie. 7 out of 10, though. I'd say watch the two of them back to back. That's what me and Taylor did, and it was fucking lit. It was great. We saw all the heroes. I was able to explain to her in Infinity War who each character was that she didn't know. That we fucking went to see Endgame. She already knew about those characters I'd explained prior now, so she was like way more into it. It was cool. And that's how the MCU works. You can just get into it. I can't just get into a character that cocky. And then who can't even do shit right. Who can't even win. That's why nobody liked Carol Danvers. It always take another hero to finish her problems. It always take her whole ass team to finish her problems. But there's a lot of inherent sexism in the way Brie Larson carried out her role in being the main lead actress for this movie. A lot of the PR was terrible. The PR, I've never seen PR that bad before. You should never be allowed to go out and target a demographic and say, this movie isn't for you. They should have stopped her there. They should have completely told her that she needed to consider a new career or something else, anything else. I mean, really, you attacked a whole demographic of men. That's misandrist, which is misogyny towards men. Sexism towards men. What? That exists? No, it doesn't. Reverse sexism isn't real. If I beat a fucking dude for being white, it's racist. It ain't reverse, it's racist. I'm looking at you, Will Smith. But, like, I hate Brie Larson too. Wow, Will Smith hates you too, Brie Larson. You see that shit? You see that shit? Will Smith hates Brie Larson too. Headline news. Tell BuzzFeed. Someone tell BuzzFeed. They'll write the article. I guarantee you. You take that minute out of that clip, they'll fucking write the article. I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of sexism in how she treated the audience. An audience of men who these comic movies were made for. Ask the Russo brothers who they make movies for, and they're gonna say comic readers. And if you don't know what demographic that is, it's 18 to like 45-year-old men who are still reading comics. So like, we are definitely who they made those movies for, Brie Larson. For you to attack old white men, now I'm mixed white. I've got a little bit of Spanish, French, Mexican, black in me. So there's a part of me she's saying that movie ain't for. Now, I'm just a comic reader. I don't care about the nationalities when it comes to reading comics. Until you make me. Until you make me. That's the thing, is I get political on a comment or two here and there. On a comic thread, I wouldn't have in the past. But Brie Larson made that okay. Brie Larson made it okay for me to compare Loki to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because of her inherent sexism. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is inherently sexist, thinking more women need to be in the workforce. In a predominantly 51 to 49% female, male-dominated workforce. So women are 51% of the workforce right now. If you ever wonder why women get hired into corner store positions and immediately promoted, they're just doing it for the credits. It's really good accreditation. Like, it would be, like, worth it to, like, have just a ton of female employees at this point, no matter how much. Even though women on average are making 8 to 10 cents more in a job field than men per hour, it's still worth it because that credit covers that in a year. That credit covers that 8 to 10 cents an hour in a year. That's crazy. But it's basically that, I mean, we have a 51% female workforce. It is inherently sexist to say you demand more women in the workforce. We have a 50-50 split almost. Let's just maintain something close to that. Like, if it gets to 60-40 or 40-60 favoring men, why is that bad? Men predominantly worked a long time ago. A lot of people in general find they don't want to work. Men just do it just because in silence. Like, we know it's a weight we have to carry. God, when women work together, there's no silence. There's no, this is our weight we carry. There's just arguments, fighting, yelling, everyone up on each other's throat. For no reason. And it doesn't have to be that way. Women need to stand up to other women to end a lot of this sexism. When Brie Larson says this movie isn't made for the old white guy who reads comics and watches these movies, unfortunately, it needs to be another white woman who disagrees with that and goes, kinda who they are made for. Like, what do you mean? Like, Iron Man is an older white dude. Who's the target demographic if not older white dudes with the first movie in the MCU franchise? Right. Okay, now that that's settled. But, like, we need women to stand up to women because this sexism won't end. If you really tired of Lauren looking over and going, "Hey, Michelle, what's up, bitch?" with a smile on her face, hit that bitch. No joke. Catch a domestic over it. Let that bitch know it ain't no joke to say a bitch like that. Shit, come at me. I don't give a fuck. I cuss. But, like, I'm saying, if you want to put an end to, like, how the sexism is carried out, I mean, really, because men retaliate. We will retaliate. If you tell us we're sexist, we'll make you believe you're right by not going to see your damn movie. That's a thing. We'll make you right. We will make you right. Whatever you say about us, we'll make you right. Unless it's fucking just illegal. I mean, you said it wasn't for us. What did all the white men do? They said, all right. They said, all right, watch Captain Marvel not be the biggest box office hit of the fucking summer. That's what happened, Brie. That is what happened. You pushed us and we retaliated. Now you're going to come back probably 2 months later after fucking Endgame's numbers are totaled and say, that's sexism. There were more men in that movie than mine. That's sexism. That's sexism. There were also more women in that movie than yours, but that you ain't going to call that sexism either. More successful female actresses in that movie, but you ain't going to call that sexism. Right. That's the issue. When Brie Larson makes these kinds of comments, it should be women in the comments standing up to her, because as men, it don't mean as much. We already know right from wrong. We already exude that with each other. When a man act out, when a man's a rapist, we burn that brother from our lives. We don't keep a man like that around. We bury him under the jailhouse, as the saying goes. But we don't keep him around. Y'all keep fucking pedophiles around. Bitches be 21 fucking 15-year-olds acting like they're defeating the patriarchy. Nigga, you sick. Women will be 14 dating a 28-year-old and act like that's normal. You sick. I've dated 2 to 5 years older than me at any given time, but not at 18, 17. Like, 2 to 5 years older than me now ain't shit. I'm fucking 25, you 27, 30, let's go get a drink. Okay, cool. But, like, at 17, there's something wrong with you if you think taking a 23-year-old is okay. You're putting that man's life at risk, for one. And then two, that's illegal. That's what you're really doing, is so you're putting a man's life at risk because now if he gets caught with you, all his homies done. They gonna fucking clown on him and beat him. That's what he's gonna be walking into anymore with the homies. Those are two things he's getting. Guaranteed. Is beatings and clownings. Second off, you love that nigga? You love that nigga. You love a dude who you can't even watch Rugrats with. You can't watch cartoons with because you have nothing in common. But if a guy is in that same situation, it's treated gross. He's put on blast. The woman, being in a position of power, usually a teacher, her face is kept out of it. She gets to keep her career. What in the hell has this world come to? We've really got to be standing up to women. If you're a judge and you see this, why? I want to ask you this, and I want your comment below. I want to know why women get less sentences. I want to know why my baby almost died in my mom's house and the family courts, being the vaginal courts that they are, protected her and tried to lock me up for my daughter's injuries. The thing is that my daughter acquired those injuries in the time with her mom. The symptoms didn't show themselves until she was in my crib. Somebody shook my baby, but I almost got locked up for that. Somebody really picked my baby up and brought her to me with bruises and a broken femur, and I almost got locked up. And if that's not sexism, I don't know what is. I couldn't tell you what is. I couldn't tell you about the fact that so many men go through this because of one woman, and they're treated like the villain. I mean, for a year and a half of my life, I was prosecuted about what happened that night, and I still to this day don't know because I couldn't get a picture of my baby from the mom for a week. She kept acting sketch and telling me baby had the flu and couldn't take a picture because of that. And then they were at Elitch's and baby couldn't. You telling me you took my baby to Elitch's and she came back with, like, shaken baby syndrome? Okay, but CPS turned it on me. And now that's the part that needs fixing. Women have to be aware there are consequences for their actions. We have to, as a society, stop accepting that all mothers are good mothers. I'm not gonna say too much on that. I was raised in a single mother household, and let me tell you that ain't true. Let me just tell you that ain't true. Not all mothers are good mothers. Not all mothers are loving mothers, and not all mothers ever wanted to be a mother. More fathers wanted to be a father because they knew what they was doing. Here's the thing. We plant the seed. We say you become a mom. We say who doesn't. The thing is, we take that risk pretty seriously, if you ask me. I don't know too many guys out there fucking without condoms. I don't know too many guys out there fucking not pulling out if they don't fuck around with a condom. I don't know too many guys out there not trying to knock a woman up. They fuck with the spermicide jelly. They fuck with the birth control girls. They do not want a child with most y'all. And there's a reason. Because y'all could never be mothers. The way y'all treat a man out in this world who just wants love, y'all can never be mothers. And that's the sexism that's handed towards y'all as the benefit of the doubt in parenting, is that you are going to get it right. From the minute that child leaves you, is that you're going to get it right. We need to address the sexism in this country because I, for one, will not live in Australia. If a woman ever puts her hands on me like that, I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested. I don't care who you are. Put your hands on me like that, swing on me and you get 3. Fucking got a knife, you get 0. Fucking got a gun, I'm breaking your whole ass arm before you even shoot. Maybe not. If you fucking 50 feet away, I'm probably dead. But you know what? If you right in my face, I'm gonna break that arm, take that gun, and you gonna be at gunpoint till the police arrive and arrest both of us. And that's man or woman. I don't give a fuck who you are. You don't put your hands on nobody else. And that's a thing our daughters do not understand here in America, is you do not put your hands on anyone. If they put their hands on you, fine. But until that point, you do not put your hands on anyone. If they're making advances and getting real creepy and gropey, they still put their hands on you. That's when it's okay. If a guy is just looking at you, you don't get to just put your hands on him. We stare at each other and stare each other down all day. I have brothers staring me down from the end of the block to my house. I've had niggas pull over because of how mean my stare is, and then not get out of the car and keep driving because of how mean my stare is. We don't want to fight with women, but the thing is women want to fight with us. We will, if we have to, go to jail over that shit, because you're gonna hit us, and you're gonna try to spin it that, oh, don't hit me. Nah, I watched that gamer on YouTube get hit by his lady on camera, and you all did too, and he moved her out of the way. Then she do some fake dramatic fall shit, and anybody believe that was fucking bullshitting. It's too much. We have to put our foot down about sexism in this country. Otherwise, you will kill your sons, America. You wonder why the suicide rate is so high for a young boy and for younger men? It's your daughters. It's your daughters, America. You raised your daughters wrong, and now we all have to suffer for it. And here we are. We're all suffering. Men have become MGTOWs. To the fathers of those men, you raised your boys right. You raised them to be men no matter what the circumstance was. Women turned out to be wanting to be full-on dingbats and loons. You raised your boys to avoid them. Good job on you. Good fucking job on you. Our sons have been raised better in America, and I never want to hear another word from Gillette about how we let our boys down. I want to hear about how we let our daughters down, because that's what we did by telling them they don't need to be wives, mothers, or have a family. You in a career? If you're 40 years old, I want your comment. How miserable are you? Oh, don't now, okay, let's exclude all the life stuff you got, all the luxury items. What you ain't got? Love and a family? Probably not. Probably not. Most of your family probably dead because they died while you was working, and then you can't get a man. You 40 years old, you have no eggs. You have no sexual value to a man. You can't bring him a kid. Men need kids. Women think women need kids and love kids. No. Y'all got it twisted. The people who need the kids are the fathers out here. It changes us in a better way. It makes us, from the ground up, to be a father. There's something different about being a father than a mother, and the statistics show that. Single mothers have created almost all of the serial killers within the last 100 years. Single mother households just have created more serial killers than any other household. Single fathers households don't create serial killers. They create people who do well in school, business, work. Fathers basically want to give you the advantages they never had. Mothers don't think that way. Mothers want to give you the love that they never had, and that's fine. I'd trade love for advantages. I would personally like it. 25 with not having a lot to my name and having a child. I would trade love for advantages right now, just to be in a better spot. Love could be found. I got a 2-year-old. She loves me indefinitely, and that is something that has been huge on me. I've never been so squishy for anybody in my life, and it makes us to have kids as men. It does not take away from a man's character to have a child. It adds to it. It can take away from a woman's character. I don't know too many women who love their kids wholly and completely, but I do know a few, and I do know that it's because of how they were raised. They were taught the importance of the family. They were taught the importance of building that family, of being there for that family, and now they're happy. Go fucking figure that these girls are happy and married. Go fucking figure that the good moms get happy and married. Go fucking figure that the woman fulfilling her genetic purpose get married. I mean, that's the thing. As a man, my genetic purpose is to have children. As a woman, your genetic purpose is to have children. I mean, sometimes you're gay or lesbian, your genetic purpose is just to fuck. At that point, get it on, bud. Get it on. I ain't got nothing to say about that. That ain't wrong. Just do it. Like, I guess it's like men and women who are straight, who are hetero, do have a certain head wiring, and that head wiring is to have as many kids as possible, or to have as many healthy kids as possible. Maybe not like 14,000 kids, but like as many healthy, like, so 3 or 4 healthy kids. That's what our biology craves. 1 to 2, everybody's got this. Everybody wants at least 1 to 4 kids. 1 to 4 kids. Talk to anyone in my generation, anyone in your generation, anybody older than that. They want 1 to 4 kids. The reason being is that that's how many kids they could have healthily. Like, that's how many healthy kids they could guarantee. It was 1 to 4. I want to have 7. It's a lot of kids. Not right now. I mean, like, in time, I'd like to have 6 more kids. I love my little girlie, and it really did change me. It really made me a better person and parent to, like, just have my little girl. And it showed me how much more love I was capable of than I even thought I was. Like, I'm a pretty loving person by my own right and standard, but man, having a baby, you find new levels of love. You get your toes stepped on by a 2-year-old, and you're like, stop it. And you're trying to get mad, but all you could do was be deflated, and you're like, what's this hang up on anger? What's this hang up on anger that you ain't never had before? That's love, bud. That is love. Anger and love are 2 sides of the same coin. We always get angry at those we love, or we hate those we want to love. And that's just a fact. That is just a fact. Like, I hate Brie Larson because I want to. I want to be able to like her. I want to. But she makes herself so unlikable. But she's the type of woman who doesn't want to be a mother and that we're letting women model after. That's a problem as a society, guys. We need to fix that. We need to put better role models. When Martha Stewart was a role model, women wanted to date and be housemakers. Like, what in the fuck changed? Like, I mean, I'm not saying I just want a woman to be a housemaker. That'd be cool. She can go do a 9 to 5, too. She can go to school. It's just like, I want to be the kind of man be able to take care of a woman who would want to stay home. Because I've seen those kinds of women, and they gorgeous. They all gorgeous. Ain't one of those girls trying to stay home ugly. Shit, all them ugly girls got 9 to 5s. And they know they need that 9 to 5. But I ain't meant to come off that way either, but it's true. Like, shit, an ugly man, he ain't got no chance of hooking up with a fucking cougar. He need the 9 to 5. He really need the 9 to 5. He work a little harder at it because he need it. Ugly girl work a little harder at it because she need it. But on a real note, the sexism in America has reached a peak. I mean, along with the racism and sexism, both perpetrated by Democrats. Like, the Republican side, this is why I like them. You're a woman? And can you do the thing we're asking you? Well, okay, yeah, no, you're qualified. You're awesome. Let's do it. Let's get it started. Democrats, you're a woman or a minority or a woman of color? Oh. See, here's the thing. This position is for a white person, and we have to meet equal opportunity on both ends, so... Sorry, can't hire you. And that's, like, the Democratic line of thinking, is more or less like, oh, you're a minority of color, well, everybody needs equal opportunity, so even though we said we were gonna help you, and that's what got us your votes, got you to vote for us in the first place, sorry, my bad. And that's what the Democratic side does each time, whether it's the sexism, the racism, it's just a, my bad, forgive me please. I can't deal with the intolerance there anymore on the left. I personally can't. I've had to leave over that. The sexism is becoming rampant to the point where I'm like, we gotta do something, guys. Says the guy lighting the fire. Gotta do something. Gotta do something. But what we need is we need America's daughters to take up the mantle. If that is Captain America's ass, as Chris Evans says in Endgame. Chris Evans. If that is America's ass, then we need America's daughters to defend America's ass right now. Because it's laying face first in the ground getting knocked out by its own feminist self. And we need you guys. And it's not a one-sided effort. It's a two-party effort. There's two genders. There's two parties. I mean, the two go together. So I'm just saying, if we work together, things get a little easier. As opposed to always being at odds and ends. I think the next video I'm going to cover why I like Trump as a black person. Even though I didn't vote at all during that election, I'm going to explain why I like Trump. And actually why I was hopeful and knew he was winning via the Facebook election versus the news election. And I'll explain the differences and how the two worked. The Cambridge Analytica scandal did have positives. There were just shitty positives too. So we'll talk about all that, guys. Other than that, I mean, I really covered for the most part. I mean, you basically have to like Captain Marvel because you have a penis. I mean, that's sexism in Hollywood, sexism on the left, and sexism in America that I've touched on today. We need our daughters out there. We need you guys in these comments. Give us these likes. Give us some subscribers. We need you. I mean, use these comments to build a movement. Use these comments to fight the left back. Like, use these comments to do whatever we can to make a voice and a movement that actually gets heard out and reached. Because we need it. I mean, we really do it. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope the daughters of America get their shit together. To the sons of America, keep staying on it, and we'll figure this out eventually, guys. Peace out.